Is it worth it to upgrade the sway bars on your Mark 6 GTI? That's what I'm going to be talking about today. I upgraded the sway bars on my Mark 6 GTI, and the reason why I did the upgrade was because I just felt like the car had way too much sway for my style of driving. One of the reasons why I believe my car had so much sway is because of the coilovers that I'm running. I'm running the ECS coilovers, and those coilovers, they're not as stiff as I would like them to be. The ECS coilover is soft and they're actually pretty comfortable. If you daily drive your car, these will probably be a pretty good fit for you because you won't be feeling every bump in the road and the car won't be as stiff. But for me, I don't daily drive my car, so I'd rather have a stiffer setup so when I do drive the car, I'd feel more planted to the road. Installing the rear sway bar in the Mark 6 GTI is actually pretty simple. It's held on by two brackets and the two end links. So once you remove those, you could just swap in the new one and that's it. But the front one is also held on by two brackets and the two end links. But because you have to lower the subframe as well, that's where things can get pretty interesting. You will need to remove or loosen the subframe bolts in order to get the subframe lower. But once you loosen or remove those bolts, you will need to get them replaced. I highly recommend that you replace those bolts because a couple weeks ago when I was upgrading the front control arm bushings, I had to remove the front control arm and I actually broke a couple of those bolts. So yeah, I'd say if you actually get those bolts to come out, consider yourself lucky and save yourself the headache and trouble later on and just replace the bolts and get new ones. Another thing that I recommend that you get is the Subframe Color Kit. That kit will help to keep the subframe center and not move around so much. So because you're already lowering the subframe, now would be a nice time for you to do that upgrade. Let's say you reinstall the subframe without the kit and later on down the line, maybe a couple months or so, you decide that, oh hey, now I'm going to install the kit. You're going to have to remove those subframe bolts, and remember it's recommended that you replace them once you remove them. So that's why I'm saying might as well just get the kit and not have to worry about replacing the bolts twice. I know some people like to upgrade the rear sway bar and not the front as well, but it's actually recommended that you upgrade both. In my case, I upgraded the rear sway bar and I was driving around the car for a few days just to test it out and see what it would feel like, and it wasn't until I upgraded the front sway bar as well that's when I noticed the huge difference. Did I notice anything after the install? Yes, I did. I actually noticed a difference before I even drove the car. While I was turning the steering wheel, I noticed that the steering wheel wasn't as light as it was before. So that was the first thing that I noticed before I even took the car out on the road. The sway bars that I got, I'm actually able to change the settings, which means I can set the bars to hard and I can also set them to soft. So if you're looking to upgrade your sway bars, I'd say look into bars that have adjustable settings as well. On my sway bar, it's actually recommended that I only set it to the stiffest setting if I'm taking the car to the track. And that's another thing that you could think about. If you take your car occasionally on the track on the weekends or so, you have the ability to set the car on the stiffest setting, and when you're daily driving the car on the street, you can set it back to the softer setting. So that's another reason why I think it's good for you to have the ability to change your adjustments on these sway bars. Would I recommend that you upgrade the sway bars in your car? Well, if you're a person who already have lowering springs, or maybe you have some coilovers and you're appreciating the increase in handling from that, I would say yes, go ahead and upgrade your sway bar. Why? Because the sway bar is going to make the car feel a lot more planted on the road while you're cornering. So you won't have that much sway when you make turns and you go around corners. So it will definitely increase the handling and it will be noticeable. I actually made a video of me upgrading the sway bars on my Mark 6 GTI, and I will have that video linked in the description below, so feel free to go check it out if you haven't seen it already. Let me know in the comment section below if you still have the stock sway bars on your Mark 6 GTI and you've been thinking about getting an upgrade. Let me know if you've been thinking about upgrading only the rear, or you've been thinking about upgrading both of them. That's going to be it for this video for today. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.